Well, alright, welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Bertolino here. Well, it's time for another track versus track video. And, well, this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do 3 albums in one shot. You know, usually track versus track is one album against one album. But I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do the first 3, the original first 3 Stooges albums. The self-titled from '69, Funhouse from 1970, and 1973's Raw Power. Now, I'm going to do this, it just seemed like a kind of a fun way to go. Like I saw Brant, a guy who has a channel called In My Head. It's mostly a Kiss-related YouTube channel. He once did a track versus track versus track versus track where he did all 4 Kiss albums, solo albums, Kiss solo albums. So this is kind of a variation on that idea, but this is, of course, 3. This is the 3 Stooges albums, right? And so, one thing I got to point out is that 2 of these albums have 8 tracks. One of them only has 7, right? Funhouse only has 7 tracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let Funhouse run out of tracks early, because once it does, there's still 2 albums up against each other. So that's why that works, and that's actually how Brant's track versus track versus track versus track of the Kiss solo albums worked also, because certain albums ended earlier, but there was still albums with tracks to go up against one another or whatever. Actually, I think he ended up with I think the Gene album had more tracks than anybody, but whatever. Point being, it doesn't line up, but in this case it works, because I said it works, right? Okay, so, alright, so, but first, of course, I have to get my little notepad here ready. So we're going to do Stooges. Funhouse. And Raw Power. Okay. So, I keep these on hand here because you know how I roll. I'll probably forget to keep tally, and so I'm going to keep it right here. I'm going to keep it handy, and I have my sheets of paper here with all my information. And so if I'm looking down a lot, it's just because I'm reading. So, track one from the first Stooges album. Well, this is the first track on that album. Of course, is 1969. Classic track. I mean, between that and Lust for Life, I mean, that's what the Strokes' entire band is based on, except they're nowhere near as good. Yeah, I won't get into the Strokes. But, okay, 1969, classic track. That goes up against track number 1 on Funhouse, which is Down on the Street. Woo! Okay. Versus track number 1 on Raw Power, which is Search and Destroy. Man, that is fucking hardcore. Yeah, all 3 of those are just absolutely just boom, just punch you in the face classic opening tracks. And I have to choose between them. Ugh, okay. Well, the first album of these 3 that I ever heard was the first album. The first album I ever owned out of these 3 was the first album. But I think my favorite of the 3 is Funhouse. 1969, Down on the Street. I'm biting my time here because I'm trying to decide. Down on the Street. You know what? Come on. I almost want to give it to Search and Destroy, but you know what? Down on the Street. I'm giving it to Down on the Street. That's just my favorite one. I mean, Search and Destroy is is the most badass of the 3 tracks, but I think Down on the Street is the one that I love the most. So Funhouse gets the first point. All right. Okay. All right, so track number 2 on the first album is I Want to Be Your Dog. Versus on Funhouse, Loose. Okay. Versus on the third album, Raw Power, Gimme Danger. And, well, that one is a little easier. Funhouse. Yeah, Loose. I mean, this is definitely Loose. yeah, I Wanted to Be Your Dog is just one of the most famous and most classic Stooges tracks. Gimme Danger is a little bit more of a slightly deeper cut in a way, you know what I mean? But, and again, kind of like Search and Destroy, it's a little bit more badass, but Loose has just kind of got the swagger and the fun, and yeah, all the way. So track number 3 on the first album is actually the last track on side 1 of that album, We Will Fall. And that goes up against, on the second album, TVI. Okay. And goes up against, on the third album, Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell. Well, it's a... Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell. Raw Power is on the map. Your pretty face is going to hell. Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell wins that one. Okay, so let's go to track number 4 now on the first album, which is No Fun. And that actually, I believe No Fun is the very first Stooges song I ever heard. I was in high school in the back seat, you know, just driving down the street with a bunch of friends, you know, a bunch of my teenage rebel buddies, dude. Well, but we were driving down the street and No Fun came on, and I'm like, who is this? It's the Stooges. And I was like, holy shit. Well, if this is what the Stooges sound like, I'm buying that album. And well, there you go. The rest is history. And it all culminates in me doing this great video. Okay, so anyway, so track number 4 on the first album is No Fun. Track number 4 on Funhouse is Dirt. Alright. And, right, we're on track number 4. Track number 4 on Raw Power is Penetration. And, well, you know what? This one's pretty easy. You know, Dirt's fine, Dirt's great. Penetration is pretty kick-ass. But you know what? No Fun. I think No Fun will always be closest to my heart. I think because it was that first song I ever heard, and you know, it has not been usurped, whatever. All right. So track number 5 on the first album is Real Cool Time, and Real Cool Time is going up against track number 5 on Funhouse, which is 1970, and track number 5 on Raw Power, which is the title track, Raw Power. And, I think, you know what? Real Cool Time. First album gets that. Real Cool Time. Definitely. Yeah, I could almost give it to Raw Power, but Real Cool Time just barely inches it out there. Edges it out. Inches, edges. I don't know the English language. Okay, so track number 6 on the first album is Anne. You know, the dirgy, sludgy ballad of the album, which Red Cross did a great cover of on their Teen Babes from Monsanto EP from 1984. And number 6 on Funhouse is title track Funhouse. And that is up against I Need Somebody, Baby from Raw Power. Okay. This one's a little tougher. And Funhouse or I Need Somebody. Raw Power gets it. I Need Somebody. Yeah. Okay. Getting towards the end here. So already, there's so few tracks on these albums. So track number 7 on the first album is Not Right. And Not Right goes up against on Funhouse. Sorry, I have a microphone right in front of one of the sheets here, so I have to look past it. Track number 7 on Funhouse, which is the final track on that album, LA Blues. You know, the guitar and sax freakout. And number 7 on Raw Power is Shake Appeal. You know what, man? Boom! Raw Power gets that Shake Appeal all the damn way. Okay, which leaves us to the final track on the first album, which is Little Doll. And we're done with Funhouse, so that's up against Death Trip on Raw Power. And, well, shit, you know what? Okay. Death Trip or Little Doll? Ooh. You know what? Little Doll. Yeah, I'm going with Little Doll. Death Trip is a bit more... It's heavier. It's a lot more fun. You know, it's more rocking, but you know, there's something about Little Doll. Little Doll just has a bit more of a. It's a little bit more distinct sounding. I guess that's really what I'm thinking. It has more of a distinct sound to it. Death Trip is just not as distinct a track as Little Doll. Little Doll is just like so, like, you know instantly which song you're listening to. Death Trip, some of the songs on Raw Power kind of sound alike. I mean, they all kick ass, but Little Doll. So, but now as I'm looking at this, there is no clear winner. Funhouse loses, very strangely, because that's my favorite album of the three. And, well, the title track and Raw Power tie with 3 tracks each. So, alright, so there you go. Stooges against Funhouse against Raw Power, and Stooges and Raw Power tie over Funhouse. Alright, well, thanks everybody for watching the videos. Thanks for all the people who've been subscribing. A lot of people really have been subscribing lately, and I really appreciate it. And let's see if I can possibly keep this thing going. Yeah, shout out to Dr. Fuck, Ralph Vieira, for the idea, the man who originated the track versus track idea. I salute him. And, you know, like the video, comment, when you subscribe, click the little bell so you can get notifications and all that kind of great stuff. And, well, I'll see you next time.